everybody to Conversations with Kelly. OMG, we have had technical difficulties like you would not believe, but that just lets us know that we are in store for a awesome conversation today. And we know, more importantly, God is going to move in this conversation today because everything the enemy tried, it's not going to work. So anyway, welcome. I'm glad that you joined us. As I always say, like, comment, send me a shout out in the comments. Let me know who's watching. Let me know if you can hear us. And we have a special guest today who is an author and editor. And for those of you all who are first-time writers wanting to get a book published, write your questions down, and I'm sure she'll be more than glad to answer them during the conversation. So again, welcome. We're not going to belabor too long because we have been trying to get this broadcast conversation up and going and live. And so I'm just going to kick it off by saying just two things real quick. I am a two-time author. This is my first book. It's called Sisterella at the Well: What Happens When a Woman's Well Runs Dry. It gives my account of my journey to wholeness, public mistakes, but also private mistakes, I should say, but public victories. The second book that I wrote that I am honored that God blessed is called Triple Delight Birthday. And this book is for children, but adults can glean from it as well. It teaches self-acceptance. It allows you to embrace differences in different people and in your mindset and attitudes. So again, it can be a blessing to a little one and to an adult as well. So again, thank you for joining us. And just to let you know, I started writing when I was in junior high. And I was telling my guests as we were in the green room, as we call it, that writing was therapeutic for me. I grew up very shy and quiet. And when I found that that was my voice, that I could speak clearly and communicate clearly what I wanted, what I didn't want, it just took over. And also being a creative thinker, it helped fulfill that creative side. So again, welcome. And again, I'm not going to just stretch it out any further. I'm going to bring in my special conversation guest today. Welcome back, Miss Tina.
Hello. I think we got it this time.
We got it. We're God's children. What you expect?
Yes.
We ain't playing with the enemy. Oh,
absolutely. No. Perseverance.
Absolutely. So I do want to share this, and then I'll let you give a proper introduction to the viewers who are listening, just to show you how good God is. It's not anything I did on my own, trust me. But God blessed to where within the first, I think it was like day or two of me releasing Triple Delight Birthday, I just went on Amazon just to copy the link. Someone wanted to purchase the book. Mm-hmm. And when I went on Amazon, this is what I saw. Totally blew me away. I'm sitting at work and it couldn't work. And I didn't tell anybody at work, so I couldn't really share it because I didn't, some things you just keep private. Yes. But I was just dumbfounded. I was like, God, what did you do? And it all started out as a project that we had to write in class. I took a writing class in college. Never thought about publishing it. It was just a grade. And I was actually wanting to publish another book, but this was the one that God had for that particular time. Then, and again, just bragging on my God, not me, for sure, enter a contest. And look,
Awesome.
I won an Indie Award for
Like,
dealing with it's for independent authors
mhm.
for the best children's book. Oh, Jesus,
That
you
is
you bad. That
awesome.
that's why I serve him like I do.
That's
So I
excellent.
am simply saying, if he did it for me, he can do it for you. And so now Miss Tina is going to tell us how to do it. Welcome again.
Thank you. Congratulations. That's so awesome.
God did it. Because I certainly did not have a clue what to do.
Yeah, he'll do it, won't he?
Yes, he will. Yes, he will. We'll start out telling us how did you fall in love with writing? When did
very,
you fall in love with writing?
very similar to you. I think most writers probably have a love for writing from the beginning. I'm from childhood. That's how mine started. It was I was an avid reader. I loved to read, and that grew into writing because I found a love for words. And then
Mhm.
so once I began to write poetry. And like you, I was very shy and
Yes.
and so my first
Yes.
poem was called The Unique Petite Me, if that gives you some insight of, and just how I felt about myself,
Mhm,
just
mhm.
being, I always felt like I couldn't always connect to, the people around me. And then as I got older, into like sixth grade or so, my teacher asked me to write in the school newspaper. And
Okay.
that was
And
it.
it took off. You're hooked.
Yes, I was so
Okay.
honored, you know, and so happy that I could express myself,
Yes.
and
Yes.
talk to people and get
Yes.
what I had to say out. So yeah.
Very good. Now, who are some of your favorite authors?
I would say back then, especially, and even now, Maya Angelou,
Yes.
Toni
Yes.
Morrison, um, and now I read more spiritual books.
Mhm,
So
mhm, mhm.
the Joyce Myers and the more modern Ryan Lestrange, John Eckhart. So
Yes. Yes.
I read a lot of textbooks, and because I'm in school, so and it's just I just read everything. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Yes. Well, one of the things that I mentioned in the first broadcast that didn't get broadcast uh, is a lot of writers procrastinate
Hmm.
because of
Hmm.
fear of it not being good enough, fear of
Absolutely.
not knowing enough. Uh,
Hmm.
and so, what would you say to encourage first time writers out there to get over that fear?
Um, that is such a big fear. It's actually an identity, a part of an identity crisis,
Yes,
not feeling good enough, the imposter
yes,
syndrome.
yes,
That is a real thing. And
yes,
we go through that as writers as well. I would say to dig your heels in and be who God has called you to be. I would say that trust God, trust the God in you, trust the vision that
absolutely,
trust the
absolutely.
vision God has given you, because guess what? It's bigger than even what you think it is. And
Yes,
so, yeah,
yes,
if
yes,
we can just do it, that's my thing. When I first started to write, every prophetic word I was getting, write the book, write the book, write the book.
yes,
And so
yes,
God just told me to do it, just do it. you know
yes,
he has
yes.
a plan after that, but he needs us to take that first step of
He
obedience.
needs our hands to
Hmm.
do it. He
Absolutely.
communicates into our mind, and then he needs our hands and feet to carry it out, to do it. You're
Hmm.
right. You're right.
Yeah, so that's what I would say. If you are stuck feeling like you're not good enough, um trust God with the process.
I like that. I like that. Someone out there needs to write trust. I'm trusting God for the process,
Hmm.
through the process, because sometimes
Yeah.
it's not going to be easy. You.
Hmm.
I know for me, when I got ready to look up at publishing and the marketing aspect, I'm like, I don't have that kind of money.
Oh yes.
So it can be a little discouraging. But the key is trust the process.
Mm-hmm.
And if God gave you, there's a saying, if it's His will, it's His bill.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's good for it, right? He's good for it.
His will. Checks don't bounce.
Mm-hmm.
You can take that to the bank.
Absolutely.
Very good. So, what are some of the common mistakes would you say that first time authors make?
I would think, I would say, just working with different authors, it would be feeling like they have to write a certain length of book
Mm-hmm,
for it to be a book or be
mm-hmm,
successful.
mm-hmm.
I always tell them to write until you feel the story is complete. Write
That's good.
until,
Good.
yeah, until you feel it, until God gives you that
Mm-hmm.
release. That's a, keep going until you feel comfortable with it. It's not about, oh, I need 500 pages. No, you write a complete story, and that's when your book is complete. The other thing I would say is not marketing your book, like we were just talking about. We feel like we know marketing costs a lot, but there
Mhm.
are ways around that.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
mhm,
Yes.
start somewhere. And I think my third thing would be, and maybe my biggest thing, and I don't think I'm biased on it, but get your, get yourself an editor. A lot
Yes.
of people
Yes.
um, try to edit their book themselves. You cannot do it because of the fact you know your own voice.
Yes.
You know
Yes.
what you're trying to say, so it's always going to sound right to you. You need that outside eye. You need that extra set of eyes on your work for it to be as polished as you can get it.
And I love what you said because it's true. Um, you, if you read it back to yourself, it's going
Mhm.
to sound fine because you
Mhm.
understand you.
You understand? Yeah. Your
But
brain actually fills in the blanks for you.
absolutely. But
Hmm.
someone else looking from the outside, they're not going to understand.
Mm-mm.
I like that. And Pamela, hey, cuz, she says, how do you format your book and how to do edits?
um, well, like I was saying with the edits, it's best to do it yourself. To have someone else do it rather than do it yourself. You can use Grammarly if you just
Yes,
want to
yes.
absolutely do it yourself. Grammarly is what I use.
Very, very good tool. Very good tool.
Yeah. And as far as formatting, I have someone that I work with to do the formatting. So it's very tedious, I will say that. But you can go on KDP, which
Mhm.
is what a lot of self-published authors use to get some of that to get that done if you want to do it yourself.
And speaking of KDP and self publishing, what are some of the advantages of self publishing versus going the traditional publishing route?
Self-publishing, I think the biggest advantage is that it allows you to have control of your creative rights. So you have
Yes,
control
yes,
over your book. When
yes.
you go, I mean, it sounds so good going through a traditional publisher. You
Of
think, oh,
course.
I'm going to get all this money.
Hmm,
Well,
hmm,
yes, you may get all this money, but guess
hmm.
what? Now have creative control over your work.
Yep, yep, yep,
You have virtually no say so.
yep.
And that may be the only money you get, what they give you up front. You may not even get royalties.
Right,
Um,
right.
so I think that's the biggest advantage. And especially for those who, writing is an art. So it's really hard for me to even think about giving somebody complete control over my book, you know.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's
Hmm.
just like me taking your story and
Hmm.
changing it to fit what I want.
Yes. Oh yeah, they'll chop it up and change it to fit whatever the market is.
Right,
Um,
right, right.
yeah, and it's really hard to get a traditional publisher too because they go by what sells.
Mhm,
You know, they go by
mhm.
what they. It's almost like music. You know how a lot of the artists, they don't really have control of their music. They don't even really have their own voice because they
Right.
have to do, yeah, what
What they're
sells.
told by the record label.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's the same if you think about going through a traditional publisher.
Very good. Well, Pamela says, how much does it cost for an editor to edit?
That depends on the shape your manuscript is in,
Hmm.
and it also depends on the editor. Like for me, I'm one of the more reasonable price editors. So mine is, I charge about 3 cents per word, and that's for developmental editing. Now I know it can go up to anywhere to 6 cents per word.
Hmm.
So it really depends on the editor,
Hmm.
the shape your manuscript is in, and the type of editing you want. If you just want line editing, maybe a little cheaper. If you want developmental editing, where we look at the entire book and we make sure everything fits and flows and it sounds right, then that's a little bit more.
Different. Right, right, right.
Mhm.
And we don't want to spill all the information too soon for those that might be joining us. But
Mhm.
you'll talk more about how they can contact you
Absolutely.
for one-on-one consultation or estimate, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Well, so far this has been valuable. Information I wish I had.
Yeah, it's always, good to have someone who has walked the path already, can kind of tell you, do this, don't do that.
Right, right,
Mhm.
right, right. And there's a popular thing on the videos now. Do this, not that.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I might hear that might be a TikTok for you, ma'am.
Uh-huh. I
As a
haven't even,
writer, do this and
yes,
not that.
I haven't even stepped into TikTok. I need to do it.
Well, hey, there you go. Confirmation then.
Yes.
Well, what would you say are some of the other tools that are available? Like you mentioned Grammarly.
Hmm.
There's some other avenues that are inexpensive or even free that
Hmm.
first time authors can take advantage of.
Hmm. I My main one is Grammarly. I also use, just on your regular Word doc, there's a program on there that's pretty good. And depending on your editor, they may be using either one of those. They may have you go, they may be using the Word program, or they may be using Grammarly. So those are the two I recommend because they're user friendly.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, there's not a lot of learning curve with it. It's a very short learning curve. So um, you want to make sure that that learning curve is easy, because you don't want to add the pressure of trying to learn a new tool on top of editing and writing and deadlines and all of that.
Mhm, mhm. Now, would you say YouTube is also a good source of at least uh, other avenues or ways that a first time writer can gain information and knowledge about the writing industry?
Yes, I would say YouTube is very, you can use that to find different information that you need. Um, Facebook, of course, there's lots of groups on there, chats
Yes,
like what you're doing right now.
yes,
Lots of people um, are on, and we're talking and we're giving away, information that is, others may charge by the hour, you know.
mhm.
So yeah, definitely do your research. Definitely, don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it.
Okay, very good. And I think Pamela says, oh, she just said thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome, Pamela.
Absolutely. So, talk about like a literary agent. You know, we
Hmm.
hear that term a lot in the writing industry. Is
Hmm.
it necessary? You know, how do you get one?
Hmm.
Pros
Well,
and cons.
a literary agent is like the middleman.
Mhm,
So I would say no. I haven't had an agent. That is for if you plan on going the traditional
the
route.
traditional route.
You really cannot get in the door without them,
Mhm.
because, like I said, they're the middleman. What they do is they take all of the proposals that they get. They take all of the and people that say, okay, I want to publish my book, and then they go through your book and they basically say yay or nay. uh, if they feel like the publisher or a publisher would pick it up, then they'll pick it up. So if you're planning on going the traditional route, yes, you probably should look for an agent. But if not, no, you absolutely do not need
Do not
one.
need one. Okay.
Mm-mm. That
Okay.
agent also is going to get about 15% of whatever you make from the publisher, whether they pay you up front, whether
Mhm.
they pay you royalties. So if you do decide to do that, make sure you read the contract very well. Um, but yeah, and like I said, they are really just going to weed out what they think the publisher may be interested in, what they think sells. So,
Not so much what God wants to
mhm.
put out. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You can do it yourself. You can be your own agent. It's all about marketing, really. It's all about you not giving up on your book. So many writers, and I think that's another thing that first time authors do is they write the book, here it is, and then they put it down,
Yep.
and there it is, right?
Yep.
It
Yep.
just sits there.
Yep.
We don't market, we don't see where else, we don't plug our book into anything else like coming on podcasts or figuring out how it can be connected to your business. Like we don't go a little further. And that's where we come in. That's where we say, um, trust the process, because when you give God something to work with, he will work with it. When you
Yeah.
give God something to work with, he
Yeah.
will open the doors. I've
Yeah.
literally gotten jobs, right? Teaching jobs, because I have my book on my resume. So you just
Oh
never,
wow.
yeah, you never know what God's
Okay.
going to do with that.
Okay. Okay.
Give
Very
him something to
good.
work with. Mm-hmm.
Very good. And I would have never thought about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Putting it
it's
on your
on there.
resume. Okay.
It's
Okay.
on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And speaking of royalties, um, tell the viewers how royalties are paid.
So it again, it depends on which route you go. If you go traditional, they are all going to have their own different ways, methods. Amazon, they pay you out every 3 months, I think, 3 or 4 months,
Yes.
and it's not necessarily a lot. So as for your royalties with Amazon, so I prefer as an author to sell my book on my website. I sell all my products on my website. I am on Amazon. I'm on
Mhm.
Amazon for credibility. People like for you to be
Yes.
on
Yes.
Amazon. You
Yes.
know,
Yes.
you do get customers there. I've had bulk
Mhm.
orders come through. Um, and it's just wonderful. It's a wonderful feeling. So those royalties will paid out are paid out in increments,
Every
and
quarter. Yeah. Mhm.
it goes out to your wherever your bank account or PayPal, however you have it set up. So I would say do both.
Do
I would
both.
say do
Okay.
yep. Have your own method, your own website, ways that you sell, go to events, do your author tables, and also be on Amazon because people like to shop on Amazon. They like the credibility that Amazon brings. So I would never say not to put your book on Amazon.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. And I'm thinking, is there another question out there? No. Oh, she just said amen.
Absolutely.
So, what's the best way to get your work copyright? Get the copyright.
So yeah, so I think a lot of people don't know that once you have actually written something on your computer on Word, right? It is copyrighted. It is because of our laws, in the United States, you have creative rights to your work.
Uh-huh.
But you also need to do that extra step of registering it. So
Yes.
you go to
Yes.
copyright.gov, and that is where you start the whole process. I think right now it's about $65
Mm-hmm.
for just a traditional application.
Mm-hmm.
But you would just go on there and start filling out your application. It's also best to wait until your book is published. So the day that you have set, like say if you went through Amazon KDP,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, I would start your copywriting process that day, the day your book drops, basically.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
because it's easier that way. But yeah, you would go to copyright.gov and just follow the application prompts, and it takes a couple months, but that peace of mind is there.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah, you need to do it. You need to get it copyrighted. Um, and yeah, I mean, it's really easy. It's not hard. People think that it's hard. It's easy.
So is it a myth that you can actually mail it to yourself and that date on the unopened package will serve
Mhm.
as what do they call it? The poor man's copyright.
Yeah,
It
I don't
will
think that's a myth. I've
okay.
never tried it, but I don't think it's a myth.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Gotcha.
Hmm.
Just as long as it's not opened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have another question. What about writing under another name? Ooh, that's a good one.
Hmm. Pen names are great. If you like, say for instance, I write spiritual self-help books. Now, if I want to go into writing fiction books, um, then I may go under a pen name. So I do think that pen names are great, especially if you're writing in two different genres. You may want to think about that. And it's just fun. I know a couple people that have pen names. Um, so yeah, definitely. Technically, my book is under a pen name. My books, because Tina is just short for Quatina, so it's technically a pen name.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. 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 Well, we're going to let the viewers ask a few more questions. And speaking of books, while we're waiting for the questions to come, tell us about the books you've written.
Yep, I have written two solo books, and I have a number of collaborative projects, which I think are also great for first time authors. I know we didn't get to that, but yeah, if you want to get your feet wet, do a collaboration. If you want to get your feet wet as an author. But I started out with two solo books. One is Out of Darkness.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And this book is just basically centered around me coming out of the identity crisis that I was in. And that is the darkness that I talk about in here. The anxiety, the depression, the not truly knowing who I am in God, or just even that God loves me as His daughter, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so that's what Out of Darkness is about. And then my next solo project, which I just love, is so close to yours, is Woman at the Well: Life, Love, and God. And
Yes,
so
yes.
this talks about what it means to be a woman, um, and to go through life, what it is to be a woman going through life, uh, wanting to be loved and wanting to love, and to not lose yourself in that process, to not lose God in that process. right? And the
Yeah.
woman at the well, she definitely, she went in her relationships, she
Yes.
ran dry in her relationship. A
Yes.
lot of the mistakes she made was because she ran dry. And I actually have a poem in there
Yep.
about that. And so that's what that book is about. It just encourages women to to seek God in your relationships. Let him quench your thirst, right?
They,
And he'll
I
bring
think,
he'll bring that.
I think we are sisters in the spirit.
That's why we were having so much trouble with this technology.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because the subtopic is mine is what happens when a woman's well runs dry.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yes.
going through my beginning stage of my Christian journey,
Mm-hmm.
I had to get to the point where I realized first I was dry.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, oh, I'm fine. This is how you're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to live life. This is what you're supposed to do, what you're not supposed to, I had my
Yeah.
own way of thinking. But then when God called me on the carpet and said,
Mm-hmm.
okay, it's time for you to get serious about what I've called you to do, what I want you to do. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I realized, oh my God, I had been
Mm-hmm.
thirsty and didn't even know it.
Thirsty.
And not just
Mm-hmm.
thirsty for relationships, but
Yeah.
like you said, thirsty for love,
Mm-hmm.
acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
And hint, that's why this one was so easy for me to write, if in a way,
Yeah.
because I wanted other kids to not
Mm-hmm.
feel unaccepted and to
Mm-hmm.
accept other kids with disabilities, with
Mm-hmm.
differences, and so yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
we sisters in the spirit.
We definitely need to do something
Yes,
around that.
ma'am.
Yes, we definitely need to because it's so needed. I don't, like you said, we don't even recognize that we're just dry,
Yep,
you
yep,
know,
yep.
and we need the living water. We need the
Yes,
water that will help us to never thirst again in
yes,
whatever way, you know.
yes,
So,
yes.
yeah.
Wow. Well, we I don't know when and how, but we're gonna do a woman at the well something.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm here for it.
And likewise,
Mhm,
because there may be people who can resonate with your story
mhm,
more than mine, and vice versa. So it's not
mhm.
a competition thing; it's a
No.
completion thing, completing
Mhm,
God's purpose on earth.
mhm.
I'm just,
Absolutely.
I'm just glad I'm a willing vessel. I wasn't always willing,
Yeah. Same.
but I am a willing vessel.
Mhm.
But how can the viewers purchase your books and contact you if they want more information about the editing services that we talked about?
Absolutely. So if you want to email me, you can email me at inkwelledits.tina@gmail.com. And if you want to purchase a book or purchase editing services, you can go to inkwelledits.com. Inkwelledits.com. That's what an
And
S.
it's up on the screen.
And it's on the screen. There we go.
Mhm, mhm,
Um,
mhm.
so, yeah, everything, my pricings are on there. I also do book coaching. So if you are stuck and you need some help with any part of the process, I have different level packagings on there as well. So,
Very
yeah.
good. Very
Mhm.
good. Well, at the end of the day, there is somebody out there that we can honestly say now, stop procrastinating. You have
Mhm.
no excuses. We've given you some powerful tools. Miss Tina, Prophetess Tina, rather, shared some powerful free websites like Grammarly, and doing the spell check through Word, and
Mhm.
even go to YouTube. Now, check the source on YouTube. You don't want to just Johnny come lately on there telling you what to do.
Yeah.
Do your research.
Yeah.
But there are some free resources and network. Like she said, there are groups on Facebook for children's authors, for
Mhm.
romance authors, for mystery writers. I mean, you have no idea what you can find on Facebook nowadays. So
Mhm.
again, there's no reason for you not to get started. And guess what? The race is never won if you never start.
No,
Never won if you don't
absolutely.
start.
Mhm.
Well, again, Miss Tina, Prophetess Tina, it has been a pleasure to talk to you in
Thank,
midst of the difficulties.
thank you. Absolutely. Yeah, I was like, no, I'm not giving up.
No, 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 because we know that there's somebody, whether it's one or, as I said, 1,001,
Mhm.
who are going to be inspired and encouraged and motivated. Because a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, I thought about writing a book," but they
Mhm.
just don't have that extra confidence or the push or even the know-how of
Mhm.
where to begin.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And also, I wanted to mention on Facebook, I'm also on Facebook as Equal Edits too. If you just want a quick way to get in contact with me.
Okay, and
Mhm.
Pamela says me.
Pamela, write the book.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
just take the next step. Take the
And
next step wherever you are.
she just said yes.
Hmm.
So I am sure she is going to contact you. Hey, Levon. Hey, classmate. How you doing? I bet you have a book of that you want to get out of you. Uh,
Hmm.
all the sports and wrestling and things that you did way back in high school, but we ain't gonna go back that far. Tell people how old we are. Thank you for tuning in, Levon. Thank you for tuning in. All right, she says it's written. But Miss Tina, Prophetess Tina, what would be your final words of inspiration, encouragement to those who are watching?
I would say just write. Just keep writing. Just keep writing because we stop in the middle. We stop
Yes,
in the
yes,
beginning. We
yes,
stop right before we get to the breakthrough, right
yes,
before God is doing what he's going to do. We
yes,
stop
yes,
when we feel there's a challenge, when we feel that we have writer's block.
yes,
Just keep writing and
yes,
don't feel that no one wants to hear what you have to say. There's always someone that God has intended, okay, to hear your book, to hear your message. There is
yes,
always
yes,
someone. And
yes,
so just write your book and let God do the rest. Give him
yes,
something to work with.
yes. What you need to say that part again. Give him some.
Give him something to work with.
Absolutely,
Uh-huh.
absolutely. Well,
Yes.
again, Prophetess Tina's information is up on the screen. Please contact her. Go to her website, purchase the books. And due to technical difficulties, we couldn't get the mug that you have. I love it. I
Oh,
am
thank you.
ordering one. What do you have it in front of? Do you have one in front of you?
Oh, I don't have one in front of me right
No,
now.
it's
Yeah.
okay. But tell the viewers, what does it say?
That one says, pray, write. What does it say now? Oh my
Pray,
gosh.
pray, write, read, I think.
Let me just pull it up real quick. I can't remember what it says. Yeah.
You all, when I saw it, I said, I'm getting that one for me.
Well, I wanted it to be straightforward and to the point
Yes.
because there is an order that we should do it. And I can't find my mug right now. I can't find my mug right now, but yeah. So it's a mug and a matching journal.
Yes. It says pray, coffee, write.
Yes, pray coffee right. So that's the order that I like to do mine.
Yes, yes.
And
Pray,
it's,
coffee, and write.
yeah, that came because out of routine. There's a routine that I think every writer should have, or at least know, because that's, and
Yeah,
we didn't get to talk about that, but that's when you get to writer's block, knowing your routine, having a routine will help
that's
you get
very,
over writer's block.
very
And
good. Very
so
good.
pray coffee right.
And journal.
And
Journal your
journal.
thoughts. Journal your
Absolutely.
thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Always, I have a notepad in every room and a pen
Mm-hmm.
in my car, so
Yeah.
that as God downloads, I'm
Yeah.
able to quickly just jot it down, and
Yes.
I can later on develop or write it, or pray about how He wants me to, what He wants me to do with it.
Mm-hmm. My daughter was just teasing me yesterday. Mom, why do you have a pen in the bathroom?
Yep.
I'm a writer.
You never know. You never know. You
Yeah.
never know when He's going to download. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to be ready. And
Yeah.
I used to, back in the day, carry uh, uh, a recorder, micro recorder in my
Mhm.
purse.
Yes. So important.
Never know. Just never know. Hello, Lady Clarice. It is good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. She says, "Pray coffee, right? I love it."
Yes. Thank you, Clarice.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Keys.
I sit at the atmosphere listening to Dappy T's keys and pray before I start writing.
Oh,
Okay,
I love that. I
okay.
love that, Pamela. That's going to carry you through.
Yes, yes.
Sometimes when I get stuck or just that writer's block or just not, I turn on a movie about writers
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and that helps me. So I know that one is kind of weird, but it does. It helps me. Yeah.
Well, you giving some great advice, because I would have never thought like to do that, to get that through that writer's block.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay,
There's
okay.
many different ways. It feels like you can get over it when you're in the middle of it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, again, prophetess, thank you so much for sharing your insight and wisdom. And please make sure go to inkwelledits.com. That is her website. You can contact her there. You can order the mug, which I'll be ordering mine,
Okay.
and just look and see what services she does provide. You may not be the one writing. You may know someone who it needs an editor. So again, for the information, share, 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 share. Now, at the end, I always say, please subscribe. We have some things coming down the road. I always get excited, and I know everybody says, "Well, she gets excited every week." Well, I do, because I know what's going to happen, what's coming up. But subscribe so that you will be notified when we get ready to go live. We have some things again that I believe God has placed in our midst to be a blessing, not just to a few, but to very many, many, many. As you share the videos and conversations and things like that. So until next time, you all be blessed. And remember, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Until next time.